Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another weekend here with us at Apollo Racing Club. We've got a very exciting race tonight for everybody. It is going to be a continuation of our mini series of the BMW M4, but tonight we're going to be racing in Australia down in Bathurst at the Mount Panorama circuit. Going to be a very, very exciting race for anybody who is unfamiliar. It is lovingly, or maybe not so lovingly, known as Mount Doom because it is a long track, but it features a hill climb of where there's almost 174 meters of elevation change. And it is very tight quarters because it also all happens on a public road. So it's going to be interesting with as many cars as we've got on the grid. Looks like 23 are going to show out today. But joining me in the commentary booth, as always, is going to be Fred Fosberg. Fred, go ahead and say hello to the nice ladies and gentlemen at home.
Hello and welcome to this evening's broadcast, or night for myself. As mentioned before, we're in a BMW only grid today, or this entire season to be exact. And one thing that is worth mentioning is that with the current BOP and of how everything looks at the moment, the BMW is the strongest car in Bathurst on pace alone. And therefore, we're probably going to see some of the faster lap times we're going to see around here for a long time until they actually fix the M4 and its BOP, since apparently the reason why this car is so fast at the moment is because of a arrow anomaly that is basically just a bug, and for some reason it has way more downforce than it's intended. So now we have a good description on why the M4 is so strong.
Yeah, and everybody was kind of waiting with bated breath for Kunos to come out and finally have an understanding of what was doing it, because this car is busted compared to the rest of the competition. But nobody's allowed to complain about that tonight because we are all driving the same car. But qualifying is underway. We now have the first of our cars coming across the start-finish line to begin their hot lap. So let's go ahead and get our eyes over on the track. And we're going to be following a Klemp here. I want to say in the BMW because that's what habit suggests I should do, but they are all in the BMW tonight. So, number 92 here, charging up the hill. And this is what we're talking about. We'll try and get a wider angle. You can see just how narrow this track is while we're basically storming up a hill. And every corner is blind. And actually, I'm going to break protocol a little bit here just so we can take a look at what they're seeing from inside the car while they're coming down the hill. We're going to use the helmet cam here just to show you how cramped this track can be. As they're coming over this hill at nearly 200 kilometers an hour, have to get on the brakes and send this thing down a hill. And it is just dangerous as hell to try to do this with more than one car. So this is going to be one of the few times these drivers actually get to focus on doing this by themselves. Hopefully they've spaced each other out enough. But as we come around this and then we come down this really long straight, you really got to nail that last corner to have any chance at not getting overtaken here, because it is a long straight, and now that they're all in the same car, as long as somebody's in the slipstream, they are going to get around you here. But we're going to have a good idea of what the lap times are going to look like here pretty soon. If free practice was anything to base our timings off of, it is going to be a quick grid out there, especially in our top 10 in our pro league here. That said, there were a couple of AMs that were sneaking out in free practice with some surprisingly competitive times, so it'll be interesting once we get to their segment of qualifying to see how they do. But this is going to be our first qualifying lap. Let's go ahead and hop back over to the TV cameras. Ooh, kisses a little bit of that curb there, but manages not to unsettle the car and comes across the line with a 205.4. It's going to be followed shortly here by another car, comes with a 204.7, and we're going to start filling up that grid here. Let's take a look at some of the other cars here that are a little closer in a pack. Let's go to car number 240. Who's driving the 240 car today? Can't see on the grid there, but...
Carlin.
Yeah, Billy Carlin. Coming around that final corner right now. Another BMW out in front. And they're going to set a 208.8, so rough first lap, but still got to get those tire pressures dialed in. We know with the new tire models, it can take a couple of laps to get these things up into their operating range. And we'll see what that next lap type.
We have a new pole sitter here also with Rick Reeder, putting in a 204 flat pretty much, and that is probably a fairly good lap time for the M class.
For sure. And currently in provisional second place, S. Brown was one of the cars that we saw doing a very, very competitive lap time in practice. Just got to get that dialed in. And we might see something incredible come out of one of our AM drivers here, but the rest of the grid filling in. Right now, the top 4 all within a second of one another with a Klemp just a little bit behind there. We've got a couple of more cold laps to get through before we've got all of our AMs qualifying. Let's see if we can't take a look at another car coming around here. Let's go to car number 101.
We have a yellow flag somewhere back into the pits now, so it's fine.
Yep, and we got another one, car number 35. Looks like they kissed a little bit too much of that wall coming down the hill. They're going to teleport back to the pits as well.
Yeah, also as Sunton Lap has managed to put it on provisional pole with a 2037.
Exia entering into the chat says, Fred is my hero. He is all of our heroes. He is our setup master, the one who understands how to set these cars up better than I think anybody else in the server. Has definitely saved enough people hours and hours of our time trying to figure out the voodoo that is required to get a good setup in these cars. But we were riding along with Jam Stam here, coming around the last of the 3 corners that make up this track. Just got down the straight. We'll see what the lap time is looking like. If the Delta is anything to base the lap time on, it is going to be very impressive. Currently 1.1 seconds up on their previous lap. Finds another 10th in the final corner. We'll see if they can hang on to it. They do, and they're going to cross the line with a 204.3. We're going to hop over to Arthur Chu, actually, who is also on a similarly crazy fast lap compared to their last one. It's going to be those tires coming back into temperature. Currently almost a second and a half up on the previous lap. If they can hang on to it coming around these last couple of corners, that is going to be a very good finish for them in the AM split. As we now have a new provisional pole coming across the line, is going to be an sudden lap with a 203.6. And to any of the drivers who watch back this stream and listen to me butcher your names, reach out to me. I'm trying my best, but
really close there between Sunton Lap and Arthur Sue.
Yeah, let's see.
Only 600s in between them.
That is
really close.
It's really close, yeah. And that just might be the difference between getting used to the tires now that they're in their operating range. Oh, number 14 has a close call up on the downhill portion of the lap. Manages to avoid collecting another car. Let's go ahead and take the cameras over there, see what's going on. All right, this looks like they've got it going the right way around now. Got some front damage there. Probably kissed a wall a little bit too closely. Interesting decision not to put it back into the pits, but they only have 2 minutes left of qualifying, so that might have factored into the decision making there. We're gonna go ahead and
definitely. If he goes back into the pits, he won't have enough time to do another lap, so he might as well just try to do something with the damaged car, but I'm not expecting him to be improving anytime soon with a lot of front-end damage.
Yeah, I'm just gotta hope for the best there. A. Lloyd and R. Reader come across with very, very quick lap times there, putting themselves within a half second of provisional pole. And then S. Brown comes across the line as we're watching there. Canadian driver sets a 203.8, bringing them the top 3 right now even tighter now. And
Chris Hungarian and Son of Flyer, 7 temps up. Going down the going through the chase right now, going into the into the final chicane of the track. He is currently 8 temps up. Drops back a little bit, so 7.5 temps up going in towards the final corner of the track. See if he gets it right. If he gets it right, he might actually be on pole. Only 800s in between it. On the brakes. Improving. Not really. It's going to be really close, but it's so close between the top 3 AM drivers. It's under a 10th between the top 3 in the AM standings. But also worth mentioning here is that Chris Hungarian also has 1 more lap to do this. And he's 1/10 up after the first turn.
Well, hold the phone though, because we've got Rick Reader now coming down off the hill now onto the final straight of the track, and currently 5/10 up in the Delta, which would be enough for provisional pole if they can hang on to it, folks. This qualifying is literally going to come down to the final second here as we watch our last AM drivers make their way around the track, shortly to be joined by the pro drivers. And then we will see what the pros have to say about our AM times, which are looking very, very good right now. All right, we're going to be hard on the brakes here into the final corner of the track. Just a little kiss on the inner curb there and get on the throttle.
That is easy. That is easy AM pole, and it's not even close. 3 temps. Good lap. Really good lap.
great laps. Let's see, we also have Jeff Fleischman out 1 second up on his Delta, which may put him up into the top 5. We can find a little bit more time there, but Arthur Chu finishing up this lap here, coming down the hill. And we're gonna see just how sketchy this is, coming over that hill from that overhead shot there that we just got to see.
Up.
He is 3/10 up, and that is gonna be, if he can, let's see. Hang on to
he
it,
managed
down
to
the hill.
actually keep the speed through there. Going into forced elbow. Let's see if he manages. Yeah, he gets it to actually break in a straight line. Now the exit is super important, but he drops time, and he gets a bit loose on exit. He's gonna probably lose all of that time now down the straight.
Yeah, that back end stepping out really does hurt.
He needs to improve by 700 though. That gives him second place in the standings after qualifying. So as it looks now, he's going to be able to do it, but he still has 2 corners to navigate.
Yeah, a well-executed chicane here can be the difference between him getting second or not. Let's keep an eye on that Delta. We want to see that number getting bigger, and it is. Oh my goodness, he nails it. Finds 4/10 in that one series of corners. Let's see what he has to say about the final corner here. Half second up, coming down to the corner. He gets on the power in time. Is he going to improve it?
He's done it.
He's going to do it, and he has first place with no time left on the clock for him to pull it off. Our new provisional pole of the AM, and he takes it by over 1/10 of a second. Congratulations, Arthur Chu. Now let's go ahead and see what our pro drivers are going to say about that. Daniel Wright leading off the charge here, and we saw some crazy times out of Daniel in qualifying. And actually, this should be very, very interesting to watch because the top 3 of the pro drivers were all within 1/10 of each other. One of the splits was down to the the thousandth of seconds. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what these pro drivers have to do. But again, a very, very solid performance out of our AM drivers. It's going to be, I would imagine it would be difficult to, for all of the pros to overtake all those times. So I think there's a good shot we have some AMs mixed into the standings here.
Yeah. And also a thing that is worth mentioning here is one driver that we haven't mentioned yet who wasn't in the top 3 in the practice sessions was Oscar Liu, who was a race winner from last race out of absolutely nowhere, which is amazing to see. And he might be able to throw in a lap here and fight Wright, Hasselbrock and Yaski. We will see soon, as he is currently going. Well, I don't see him on the track map right now, but he's on track.
We're watching Daniel Wright right now, but I actually want to hop back a couple of positions on the track because we have a couple of drivers that are actually very close to one another. We should be able to. Hopefully, there won't be any action. I don't think they're close enough to each other to cause any problems. But see if we can get more than one car in the shot here. There we go. Coming up and over that little bump. Very, very sketchy bump because it can unsettle the car if you hit it wrong. A little bit of dust there kicked up from the car out in front. And remind me on the next lap, if I can't remind myself, I do want to hop on board again just so we can see just how quick these cars are having to go around these narrow bends here. Because you really, until you've driven it, you really don't understand just how quick your reaction time has to be to get around these corners. It has to be muscle memory if you're going to be fast.
It looked like Daniel Wright had a bit of a moment going out of the chicane after the chase and probably lost about 4/10 there. But it was only his first lap, and he is finishing off his lap now, and that puts him on provisional pole with a 2:02.2. A lot of twos there. But Jaknes puts it on provisional pole above right now, 2/10 faster with a 2:02 flat. As we have more people crossing the line, Hasselbrock is 9/10 slower than Jaknes, so that's probably about a 2:03. Oscar Liu 7/10 slower than Jaknes with a 2:07. Afonso being 1 second slower than Jaknes with a 2:03. And with... Wait. Something happened here. I'm fairly certain that I saw Jaski being far up. But now all of a sudden he got bumped down to 18th place. Something must have been wrong with my standings.
Yeah, it could have been a whole bunch of things. Niall Drake in the chat, hello! How are you doing, my controller driving alien? All right, now since we're coming up and around the hill here, let's go ahead and get in our dash cam, or not dash cam, this guy here, so we can just see, look at how fast these cars are having to sling around these corners, getting right up against that wall there, almost loses control of it because he has to kiss the curbing there. No lift there, keeps the power down. Oh, and he loses it, and that is all it takes, folks. Just a little bit of misjudgment.
And that is gonna
jeopardize another qualifying
at least
lap.
one guy.
There we go. And they're gonna teleport back to the pits. That's unfortunate that we caught that on camera, but that does demonstrate exactly what I wanted to see there, and that is just how tight of a margin these drivers are having to deal with on the limit of grip. Coming down that hill, it is just brutal. All right, let's see here. Aiden Hasselbrock right now on a pretty impressive lap right now. 1 second up in the Delta, which would put them in the 2:01 range. Loses a little bit coming around that corner. We'll see if they're able to scrap a little bit of that back coming around the final corner here, hard into the brakes. Ooh, really using every inch of the track there. You can see that those outside tires almost kissing into the grass, but that is going to be a good improvement for them. There's a 2:02.3 out of Aiden Hasselbrock, putting them up in third place. Not a whole lot of action going on elsewhere on the track here. Let's take a look over at number 33. Don't think they've been on the cameras yet. Let's take a look here. It's going to be Gabriel Fitter. It's a new name for me. Up at the top of the hill.
Going through the, yeah, exactly, on the top of the hill, if we follow him here. Going down towards Skyline, you want to be in 5th gear, shift down to 4th, be around 200 kph on the downhill, so it's a bit slow here. Be on this curb here, down to 2nd, hug the curb on the right side, throw the car into the left-hander in 1st gear, then heavy on throttle, all the way up to 4th in this car. Then lift, coast through this corner, and then brake in a straight line, keep a wide entry to the corner to just keep it tight on exit and be on throttle early, because it's just a long straight here, so it's really important to set up the straight by going fairly slow into Forest Elbow, as the corner is called. This is probably the only place on the entire calendar that the M4 actually uses 6th gear to any extent, and you actually get it up to almost 280 kph if you got a good exit. Then you go preferably down to 3rd, but he goes down to 2nd there to stabilize the car, and then it's only a 90-degree corner for the final turn. Brake at pretty much under meter board, tight line early on throttle. And that puts him in 20th place with a 2:05.9.
Right as we say that, Daniel Wright coming across the line with a 0.6 improvement on the lap time. That is going to put him firmly in 1st place with a almost 0.4 lead on Michael Yaknis, who's going to have to do some work if he's going to get close to Daniel Wright again, as Daniel loses it after the exit of turn 1 there. Just got a little bit too wide there on the exit, maybe just pushing for a couple extra hundredths there. And that is going to cost them probably the rest of qualifying. Rogerio Santos, 0.8 up on the lap time. Let's see where they come across at. That's going to bump them up into 8th place there. I believe that is that a Brazilian flag? I think it is, unless I'm mistaken. I don't know my flag.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, I did it. The dumb American knows his country flags. All right, Michael Yaknis just came up in topic because of Daniel Wright's most recent lap. I'm going to go ahead and keep an eye on them here coming up the hill into Skyline.
Touch the wall.
Yep, kisses the wall a little bit there, but able to get it back under control without too much drama. And you can watch that car bounce around just how barely stable enough it is. Almost lost the back end there. Has to brake a little harder than usual coming around the, coming up over the hill. And now they begin their way down.
Looks fairly good on the downhill thus far. From what I can see, he is currently up by about 1/10, but he's sadly losing a bit of time down the straight. So, but if he manages to nail the chicane, he can probably gain a few attempts and maybe contest right, as this is going to be his final lap. As he goes into the end of the chase here, loses a bit of time on the braking, hits the curb way too hard for my liking. Still gains a bit of time though, up 1.5 tenths at this point, going in towards the final turn. Looks solid on the braking. On throttle fairly early. Improves by 1.5 tenths, but that's not going to be enough because Daniel Wright is on pole.
All right, we have 2 cars still left out on the track. It looks like Andrew Jaski not able to get in a final lap. It's going to be a cold lap for them. I don't know if it'll allow Andrew to take another lap, but the 121 car currently 4 tenths up in the Delta. It's going to be Ice 10. See what they're able to do in the final corner here. Does make a slight improvement now, a half second up in the Delta. And crosses the line, bumps them up into 10th place for Ice 10. And we have one final driver out on the track, number 48, BMW of Kaiser.
Yep, and they are doing a good job at the moment. Currently 3 tenths up. Also gaining some time through the end of the chase, coming into the final corner. See if they manage to improve. All the way down to first. But he gains a lot of time.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god!
They
improved by like 9 tenths. It puts it on 6th place. That's a really good lap at the end of it.
Found almost a second in the final corner. That is not something you see very often. Wow, what an improvement there at the final second. You love to see it.
From 20th to 6th. That's what I call an improvement.
There we go. We're back in real world cameras. All right, so that is qualifying. We'll go ahead and open up the tab menu here so we can see the splits. Man, look at all of those purples. We actually had a tied purple sector for Michael Yaknis and Daniel Wright. That is not something you see often, considering they were both purple. Very impressive performance out of both of those drivers, all of the drivers, honestly. Very, very challenging track to race quickly on, and I don't really think we saw too many actually slow times, so this is going to be an exciting race. Before we get too much farther, I did neglect to do this earlier. Do want to say thank you to all of our partners and sponsors here at Apollo Racing Club. They do make this much easier for us to pull off. So big thanks out to Driver61, SimGrid, Grid Finder, and Pitwall Live, which I just remembered I need to be running that so that we have live splits for those who want to see that. And that is why you shouldn't forget things when you're starting a stream. So I'll go ahead and get that going. We'll drop some links into the chat if anybody's curious about watching that in real time. But any predictions on how you think this race is going to go, Fred?
Well, I am going to go with a... I'm going to do a very interesting prediction here.
Okay, let's
which
hear
I don't think... I'm saying that Alexandre Afonso wins this race.
You do?
Because he has been long in, or Andre Alex Afonso, sorry, and because he has been long in for a good BMW for ages, and we've known that because he's been driving the M6, the poor guy, and especially on Spa he had a nightmare of a race, but now he has a very competitive car and on a brand that is really seems to know, and he had a really good showing in Nürburgring. So if he just manages to stay on track, and maybe the people ahead have a bit of a tussle. We don't know. Might happen. He might be able to take first place. So I'm gonna say Afonso for the win here today.
I like
in the pro standings.
I like it. I'm really paying attention to these AM standings. We've got let's see, 3 of our amateurs in the top 10 right now, led off by Arthur Chu, who had a very, very good qualifying session. It'll be interesting to see how many of those AMs are able to keep themselves in the top 10. One of the distinguishing factors between the pros and the AMs is usually consistency. And at a track like Bathurst, you really cannot compromise your consistency here, or you'll end up in a wall and usually facing the wrong side or facing the wrong way around on the track.
30 seconds.
All right, that is the 30-second call out to the beginning of the pace lap here. It's going to be led off by Daniel Wright. And it is going to be a long one.
Seconds.
Bathurst is it the, no, I think Spa is the longest track in the schedule. I think closely followed by Bathurst. That's a 6.2 kilometer long track.
10 seconds.
And Spa is 4 kilometers and 4 meters. No, 7 kilometers and 4 meters.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
That sounds about right. I know it's a monster of a track.
Yeah, the thing I'm going to be most interested in looking at is what is going to go down in the downhill.
Yeah.
At the first lap, when everyone's bunched up. It's going to be fine once everyone's a bit spread out, but the first lap, when everyone's right on the tail of each other. It's going to be very interesting to see who survives, and especially if one of the pro drivers gets spun around in that area, how many of the drivers behind them are going to be involved in an accident.
Right. Yeah, first couple of laps are going to be very, very interesting. That is for sure, because as we saw, there is not a lot of room once you start coming up and down the hill. I mean, especially Griffin's Bend, man. What a brutal corner to try and deal with this many cars.
Yeah.
Griffin's Bend,
I
of course,
agree 100%.
For the folks who don't know, is the corner that we're about to watch Daniel wrap around here. Niall Drake coming out with his race prediction. We are going to have a massive incident lap 1. You are making a very safe bet there, friend. Of course, we don't want to see that. We want to see clean racing. Make sure everybody has room to get around the track safely. But, oh my goodness, actually, hold on. Exia GTF1 catches something that went right past my head. Fred, I don't know if you see it yet either, but to everybody here, go ahead and take a look at the weather forecast up there at the top right-hand side of your screen.
Oh!
Oh my God. Folks, we are in for the race of the season here. It is going to be raining
I want to say, it
minutes.
could be.
Oh no.
It could be. It's not confirmed,
not windy.
but
it's
it looks
not windy yet, but that does not look
good. It looks
good.
likely. It looks likely.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
everybody who has friends that are interested in motorsport, you need to send them the link to this stream right now, because this is going to get nuts. We've got how many cars? 24 cars on the grid known as Mount Doom, and it is going to start raining in a half hour, most likely. And considering the track is optimum, that means it is going to get slippery out there, and it's going to lead for some very interesting racing if we start to see some water fall from the sky here.
Yeah, and then it's basically who makes the right tire gamble. Who goes onto the wet tires at the right time, because if you go onto the wets too early, you'll just wear them out and they'll be useless. But if you wait for too long, you'll lose too much pace and maybe crash because the slips don't have any grip.
Yeah.
So let's see who has the biggest brain besides the pace now. Everything is just everything just became so much more interesting all of a sudden.
There's so many things to think about now. Oh my goodness, what a nightmare. I mean, this is exciting for us, but because I drive, I can't help but think what would be going through my head right now. Oof. That's a tough call, and it is only light rain. It's not heavy rain or thunderstorming, so it's gonna be enough to where it's gonna reduce grip enough to where they might have to consider the rains, especially on the hill part of the track. There's just so little grip there already. Man, that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I can't say anything else, but that I agree.
Well, keep your eyes on the forecast.
It's going to be very
folks.
interesting to see how everything goes. I can keep people updated as well. I'll check from time to time to see if it changes. But as of right now, it does really look like it's going to rain.
This is gonna get exciting. Oh man, all right, well, as we come up to the final couple of corners here, I want to say a big thank you to everybody who is watching, anybody who is tuned in already. You are in for a treat here. One of the most exciting, if not the most exciting track on any schedule here in Australia is going to be Mount Panorama as we come around the final corner. Let's, everybody, I'm going to be holding my breath because it's turn 1 at Bathurst, and then there's a mountain right after it. It's going to be an exciting start of this race. All right, and here we go. Daniel Wright comes around the final corner. He's got to get it up to 70 kilometers an hour, and any second we will see the green lights, and this race will be underway. And here we go. There is the green light. Now everybody full throttle, and we are going to be racing down into the first corner. Let's see if we can keep it drama-free. Daniel Wright is going to get through relatively cleanly. It looks like 2 cars side by side, gets pushed slightly off the track, gets back over without any drama. Let's take a look in the middle of the pack. So far, no yellow flags. Big ups to all of our drivers. Let's keep an eye on the front here as we now have a drag race between 2 BMWs, Daniel Wright and M. Yaknis, racing up into Griffin's Bend, which can be tricky, too wide. They're not even going to think about it, though. They're going to filter through there, but Yaski does want to get on the outside, just not quite enough room to make it happen, and now there is another BMW too wide coming up into the cutting. really weird braking zone to try and take. Oh, and there is
we have some contact there.
Slight contact there between 3rd and 4th position, but they're going to continue going unabated there. Let's go ahead and hop down to the TV cameras.
We have a traffic stop. We have someone spun around.
Oh my goodness!
I think that is.
Yep, that is a car.
That should be the Brazilian car.
All
yep.
right.
Brazilian car. That it should be Santos, I think, if I'm not 100% mistaken.
We did catch it just for a second there on the cameras there. 177 still trying to get the car turned around. Yellow flag still. But let's go ahead and hop up to our race leaders here because it is very close between these cars here.
There's a bit of a gap has formed between the first few cars and pretty much all of the AM pack. But everyone seems to be alive through the downhill thus far. Oh, we have one car going slow, number 47, which is Thomas Castellani, and he has
another
a
yellow
lot of
flag
front
too.
end.
Oh, we've got a car
92.
facing the wall right at the final corner where that's Forest Elbow. And that is going to be difficult to get straightened out. They're waiting for a car to pass, and now they're going to go ahead and get back around. But let's hop back up to our race leaders here as we are getting ready to finish our first lap here at Bathurst. Daniel Wright still in the lead, closely followed by Michael Yakis and Oscar Liu. And that is one lap at Bathurst. If that wasn't exciting enough for y'all, the race is still
Oscar
in the forecast.
is going for a move on Yaknis at the moment. He's got the inside line going into hell. They're side by side, but keeping it very fair. But now is the question: did Oscar get good enough of an exit to actually challenge Yaknis at all? But it tucks in, and the toe is right on the bumper of Yaknis going up towards Griffin. Takes the outside line because Yaknis is just basically hugging the inside at this point. Braking at the latest.
He's going to try on the outside. Does he have the room? He doesn't. He has to back off the throttle early so that he doesn't run himself into the outside of the track, and that is going to be a successful defense by Michael Yaknis picking the better line there, but it is not over yet as they come up into the cutting and begin their charge up the hill.
And Andre Alex Afonso has managed to got up to 4th place now, so my prediction, it might not be coming off correct at the moment, but he is definitely in it if something happens. Also worth mentioning is that Arthur Shu is up to 6th at this point after he was Dylan Kaiser.
Really making a strong showing for the AM split here. He is sandwiched between all of these pro drivers and has got the pace to make it look like he belongs there. See how long he's able to hang on to that, Arthur. Because, yeah, a 6th place finish for an AM. That would be a massive finish for the AM driver here. Got a yellow flag up at the top of the hill, the number 66 car. Let's take a look. Ooh, just kind of sandwiched. Oh, that's a big hit. Whatever just happened there. That car is going to need to go to the pits. They can't control it.
Yeah, that needs to be a return to garage. That car is bust.
Yeah, that's... Unfortunately, we missed it on the cameras, but that is all it takes is just getting a little bit loose. And because of, we saw it during qualifying, just how fast those cars are coming over the top of the hill, which is where they lost control there. At 200 kilometers an hour, if you don't have any grip, you're not stopping that car by the time it gets into a wall. And that's exactly what happens.
Now we have stuff going down because Yaknis is right on the bumper of Daniel right now, going into turn 1.
We're watching it on the stream right now.
Perfect. As Thomas Castellani comes out of the pits after a repair, hopefully it just lets the leaders by here and don't interfere too much with it. It looks like he is just letting them by, which is good. But at the same time, Oscar Liu seems to has gotten the best out of that, out of the turn 1 exit, but there is not in a position to make any overtaking attempts, so the order stays the same in the front 4 now.
Yeah, but Michael Yaknis cannot even relax for a second. Is having to put up a defense every second of this lap because Oscar Liu right on that
Thomas
rear bumper.
is in the wall again.
Ooh, that is rough. Looks like it was just a light tap though, because he is still going up the hill. I was talking to him a little bit before the race, and Thomas was struggling a little bit trying to wrangle in this BMW, was having troubles with oversteer specifically, if I remember correctly, when getting on the throttle, and that is one thing about the BMW. It's got lots of grip until it doesn't, and then it likes to let go.
Yep. Yeah,
oh my
it's
goodness,
gonna be so close.
Look at this front 3 though. Oh my goodness.
Yaknis must have him. Yaknis must have right here. He's right on the bumper on the longest straight, straight in the game. He has to get by him here.
There's not really much Daniel can do, but
super sharp.
Yeah, that was a really
Trouble
aggressive.
Yes, I think he scrubbed off too much speed there. Yeah, he did.
Just waited a little bit too long to make the move, and it just left him with no room, so he had to jut over, and that cost him too much speed to get around. And it is going to be another lap with the same order for this top three, who are starting to grow a bit of a gap to the rest of the pack, and based on the qualifying times, that is what we expected to see. Very close there between first and second place. Michael Yaknis almost running into the back of Daniel Wright, at least from the perspective we had, and Oscar Liu in third place, setting the fastest lap of the race, despite the fact he's got 2 cars in front of him.
Yeah. Ah, this is stupid how close they are. All of them are within 3/10 of each other, and this time Oscar Liu has a good run, but once again he just gets shown the outside going into Griffin, and unless you're really late on the brake, you'll never be able to overtake into here. But he actually has the front wheels ahead, but he gets bumped out wide.
Just a little bit of contact there. Fortunately, it looked like it was minor, and the car was able to absorb it, because otherwise that is a death trap of a corner if there's contact at all. But that order is going to stay the same. Daniel Wright 1, Michael Yaknis 2, Oscar Liu 3, as they begin another lap here at Bathurst. Let's take a look back in the pack here, because there is quite a bit of action to be seen everywhere. Maybe not that far back. Let's take a look at Dylan Kaiser's lap. With a little bit of action behind there, you saw a car out into the wall up there in the cutting. Also, Dylan, if you happen to watch the stream,
We have a crash. Spencer Brown has tapped the wall and is probably running with quite a bit of side and front damage. That car probably wants to be repaired as soon as possible, but I don't think it's worth going in early for an early pit stop. But it does not look good. It looks very unstable, and it comes into the downhill section now with the car right on his bumper.
Good news for our drivers here. It looks like the weather has changed slightly. I no longer see rain in the forecast, so they may not have to deal with changing track conditions. And as I was saying, just real quick before I forget, Dylan Kaiser, I've got an all-white livery for you, which means I probably didn't get it in the livery pack. Reach out to me, me or Fred after the race. Try and get that rectified for you for the upcoming races here.
Yeah, I have their livery at the moment, so I can see it. It's
perfect.
Yeah, I'll send it over to you afterwards.
Yep. So we will fix that for the next broadcast then.
Okay, Lou has dropped back a little bit at the front now, but Yaknis is still right on the bumper, right?
Which I personally like to see a little bit of pressure on our aliens, because it's not very often we see so many people, or so many of our fast drivers stacked on top of one another for this long, especially at a track like Bathurst, where all it takes is one little mistake and you start to see some pretty big gaps form here. Right now, Andre Alfonso trying to catch up to our top three, as he is really the only one with a shot at catching them right now. As you can see, there's a pretty big gap on the track map over on your right-hand side of the screen. Which that next pack is being led up by Aiden Hasselbrock, coming up into the cutting with 3 cars not too far behind in tow. That's going to be Dylan Kaiser and Ice Tin, who both had strong performances in qualifying. Update on our AM standings: Arthur Chu has fallen back into 8th place, but still in the top 10, and as a matter of fact, 10, 9, and 8 all held by our amateur drivers here. We'll see if they're able to keep up the pace, but I want to hop up to Daniel Wright, because he still has Michael Yaknis right on that rear bumper.
And looks like Wright had a very compromised exit going through the forced elbow.
We'll see if Yaknis is able to get him this time. I think that he's close enough.
Yeah, he has a good toe. He basically needs to pull out late and go for the inside. That is how he's gonna have to do this. Stick to the bumper, pull out. I think he's still too far back here. Yep. Yeah, Wright's car seems to be very slippery. Wonder if he's using my no-wing setup that I uploaded earlier.
On a track like this, you kind of have to, especially with the aero being as busted on this car as it is.
Oscar Liu! Oh, he managed to save it.
Oh my goodness, he caught it, folks. I don't know if you caught that, but just behind where the cameras were focused, we saw Oscar Liu come around that back corner. Must have taken too much of the inside curb because almost lost the back end there. Manages to wrangle it back under control and stay in competition for the top 3. Very, very good save from our driver there.
Yeah, this battle is gonna keep going on, but I can see that Chris Hungarian is really close to Jeff Fleischman. And I mean, really close.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at that.
Looks like Chris has some front end damage, so he's probably losing a bit of straight line speed, which is not good on a track which is 70% straight lines. But yeah, and we can see a bunch of cars are starting to look a bit bumped up.
And that is just the nature of racing at Mount Panorama. Your car is going to take damage unless you drive flawlessly, and actually you can see a little bit there out of focus. G-Fitter has got some front end damage as well, not slowing them down at all. And actually, I think we're going to see Joshua Kimball come around that corner right before the camera changes there. If
Hasselbrock is very slow on the further up the mountain section. How much damage are we talking? We're talking a lot of damage.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Oh, no, no, no. Ooh. Oh my goodness, I don't know who it was we just saw narrowly avoid a collision there out into the runoff there. I'm not sure if there's a ton that Aiden could have done there, just with the condition the car was in when we took a look at it. But very, very close call for that passing yellow BMW. And I believe that was actually Arthur Chu. No, 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 there was a car out in front of us, so that would have been... Oh, the leaderboard's all messed up now. Yeah, it was Arthur Chu. Okay.
It is.
Yep.
I think Hasselbrock is no longer in the server. That is why it got messed up.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. All right, Andre Alfonso having to put on a little bit of a defense here now that Dylan Kaiser's caught up to the rear bumper of the BMW in front. Ice 10 also a part of the equation as we now have a 3-car race for 4th place.
Oh yeah, it's side by side now. Between Jackness and Wright.
Okay,
side by side going into Griffin.
Yep. We're gonna take a look at that real quick here, folks.
Once again, Jackness gets shown the outside, but at the same time, it doesn't look like he was putting as much up. Oh, that was close to being in the wall by Jackness, but he managed to keep it straight, and that gives Oscar Liu the chance to get back into fighting. As we can see, also Eiston being really close to Dylan Kaiser.
And actually, that was a recent overtake that would have had to have happened on the mountain straight, because that was Ice 10 behind Dylan Kaiser just a lap ago.
Oh, yeah, it just updated on my relative as well. Yeah, it looks like Wright is carrying a bit too much speed going through Skyline towards the second part of the downhill, because he is washing out a bit too wide for the entry, so that just gives Jackness the chance to be right on Wright's bumper, all basically for the entirety of last and first sector.
It does make me wonder what his tire life is starting to look like. As the track is getting darker, it is going to start getting colder, but having to put on a solid defense this entire time could...
Oh. Weather updated. Now it's just straight cloudy. Something can still happen.
Yeah.
Oh, we have contact as Jackness hits the rear of Wright, pushing him wide. Then Oscar Liu then taking opportunity of that and getting past both of them. So now we have a new leader in Oscar Liu after Jackness had contact with Wright, as Wright gets a bit wide off of the final corner as Jackness takes second place back, and now the hunt is on to hunt down the new leader, Oscar Liu. Whilst all of that was going on, we can see Afonso still keeping it within 3 seconds, so if something goes down, he's definitely going to be able to pounce on it.
All right, and we're also watching a battle unfold between Ice 10 and a, looks like a blue flag car there. I can't see the car number from the shot here. Who is that? Number 23, so at last place, that's going to be Southern Lap. And the number 66 BMW there should lift and yield that position to Ice 10. It looks like that's what happened. And now he's sandwiched in for in between a battle for position between Ice 10 and Dylan Kaiser. And it looks like Oscar Liu, just looking at the map, is pulling a bit of a gap to those two cars behind. Must have been hanging on to some pace until the opportunity presented itself, because Oscar is now in a pretty commanding lead here.
Yeah, dirty air is very much a thing here. You're going through the downhill, so if you have no cars ahead, you're probably going to be a lot quicker.
Let's see, how big is that gap now? Almost 2 seconds as they begin their way down Conrad. And we'll have to keep an eye on that to see how that unfolds. Let's go ahead and hop back to the number 121 car of Ice 10. Because there is still some action unfolding back here, still with that back marker in between the race for position, but keeping things nice and tidy, coming down the hill around Forest Elbow, down into the Conrad, gets a good exit, and really no threat of picking up a tow from the cars behind.
I think the gap is a little bit too long, or too wide for GT3s to actually be able to tow here. But Kaiser definitely has a tow on something lap there. That's for sure.
Watching Gabriel Fitter and Chris Ungurian right now making their way down Conrad. Chris trying to make a move around the outside there, might be able to make it happen. Both of those BMWs have some front aero damage, which is going to be hurting the top end speed of both of them. But it does look like Chris is going to have a good line coming around that corner. But it is going to force him into the outside line. Early break from Gabriel Fitter is going to let Chris Ungurian make it around there relatively effortlessly. And that is going to be a position gained for Chris Ungurian. Let's hop further back into the grid. Let's take a look at Joshua Kimball. Got some some major front aero damage to that BMW. And has B. Carlin right behind him looking to take that position away from him. And with front aero damage like that, man, that BMW cannot be fun to drive. He has got to be begging for that pit window to open. And another weather update, folks. There is now light rain projected in the next 10 minutes. Let's go! Oh my goodness, this is going to get exciting.
Jesus Christ. Yep. Well, if it's going to rain in 10 minutes, it's actually a very big possibility that it'll keep raining afterwards as well. So the rest of the race can actually be wet now. But yeah, pit window opens in 2 minutes. What are people gonna do? Are people gonna gamble and go onto the wets early and maybe have a big advantage once the dries just stop working, especially on Bathurst, because you'll have to be so careful going through the mountain section? Or are you gonna try to stick it out with the slicks to not wear out the tires as Tom Castellani goes back to the pits again? Wonder if that's race done for him or if he's gonna try to keep going. We'll see soon. But I'm just waiting for the rain now.
Joshua Kimball loses the front end a little bit, pushing him out wide at the top of the hill. He's gonna have to use that runoff, and that is gonna let the pack of 3 cars right behind him take a couple of positions away from him. But B. Carlin getting the best of the exchange, gets away from the drama, and is gonna be able to take that clean air all the way down to the end of the hill and have a clean run down Conrad. But just behind him, quite a battle is unfolding now that Joshua Kimball's in the middle of it. And we see that golden BMW in the back goes way too wide coming around that corner. He's going to sustain some front aero damage. That's going to be Mason Britt, or excuse me, Burt in the number 88 BMW. Collects a little bit of front aero damage there right before Conrad. And that does space out that pack of 3 a little bit, but no time to relax for the Canadian driver here, because he has another BMW right behind him that is going to be looking to take that position away. Ooh, way too much of that curb, and it is going to unsettle the back end of the car and is going to force them out into the grass.
Is it done there? Because he's just standing still.
Doesn't need to be. Oh,
yep,
that is
done.
That is going to do it. That is a retirement from the Canadian driver there. And the race goes on. Rain still in the forecast in 10 minutes. Chat, what are you thinking? What would you be doing right now? You got 12 seconds until the pit window opens. There is very likely going to be some light rain here in the next 10 minutes. What are you doing?
I would personally try to stick it out with the slicks. Going in as the pit window opens. I wouldn't go for the wets unless the slicks becomes completely undrivable. There's no point trying to gamble on changing tires, because it's such a big time loss. You better just try to stay out on the slicks and make the best of what you can and wait to see if the rain is going to stick for longer than 20,
huge accident
10 minutes.
there. Sorry to cut you off there, but a huge accident out of one of the BMWs. I didn't see what car it was, but we caught it on stream. Ended up going sideways into the wall.
I think that is Arthur Shu.
Ooh, that's not good for their top 10 standing hopes here. But yeah, that is a very damaged BMW there. And you can tell by the way he's struggling to keep it straight that the alignment's going to be out on that guy.
Yeah, he has pretty much a 90-degree angle on the steering wheel when trying to drive straight. That car is junkyard material at this point. Hopefully manages to get it fixed in not too long, but I'm expecting that to be a lot of damage.
Yeah, and we can see it on stream right now. He's having to drive with almost a 45-degree angle just to keep the car going straight. Let's get that fixed up and back out on the track. Good timing for the pit window to lapse, because that is going to be, while a penalty because they have to repair some damage, could have been worse for sure. Let's take a look at the number 12 car, Spencer Brown under fire.
Really close.
Yep, okay. Look at that. Great minds.
Good.
Come up the mountain straight into Griffin's
Synergy.
Bend. Gonna keep it nice and tidy and single file coming around that corner. And up into the cutting. Front aero damage to Spencer Brown. Rear aero damage to the BMW right behind him.
I'd much rather have the front end damage then, because you really need the stability, especially for this section.
For sure, and we can see just how much Spencer's having to struggle to keep that car in control, getting right up next to that wall with maybe only centimeters to spare there. Coming up and over the hill. And down, there we go. Oh, that makes me nervous watching it from that camera angle. You can tell just how much the front end of that car has to struggle to bite in, but still managing to keep that BMW going the right way around. A couple more corners until they are finished with this lap of Mountain Doom, and you gotta wonder if he's gonna put it into the pits yet or stay out. Chat's consensus is stay out for as long as he can, but with as many cars damaged as there are right now, some of them have got to be thinking about dealing with that. Let's go ahead and take a look at Ice 10. That looked a lot closer on the map than it is in reality, but a very beat up BMW there. And that just seems to be the story around the track. Everybody has sustained at least some amount of damage. And really, it does seem to be a battle of who's taken the least.
Yeah, as Jackness is really close to Oscar Lou all of a sudden.
Rick Reeder going into the pits there. Let's go ahead and take a look at Oscar Lou. 0.2 of a second between those two cars. As they're coming up the hill, that's around the cutting, up into Quarry.
The big question is, when is the rain coming? When is the rain coming?
It's going to be any minute now. We noticed it with at the 42-minute mark, so we're going to see it in the next 5 minutes if we're going to see it.
Okay.
Man, I am loving where Kunos put these TV cameras, because it really does give you a sense of just how fast these cars are going around some of these corners. Ooh, Oscar Lou almost loses the back end coming up and over that hill there. That does let the car behind close up on him, but there is just no room to pass here, so it is going to come down to who has the better exit around Forests and gets the better run down Conrad before that final chicane there. Ooh, looks like a decent exit out of both of them.
Yep.
Now the question is, are they close enough for the toe on Oscar?
There we go. Rain's...
Yep, the rain is falling. Oh, that's a lot of rain. What?
Yeah, and the rain is going to increase in 10 minutes as well. Yeah, we're going to have to go into wets later. Hopefully people have set up a wet... Oh, as we see Yaski going down the inside. Ooh. Manages to kind of make it stick.
Bombs him.
A bit naughty, but I do approve of that. I think that is a fair move in my eyes. And now the track condition is going over to green, and you can see how much the cars are plowing, because people are squirming. We need to go into the mountain section. What is going to happen?
Oh, I'm just going to leave it on Helicam because I don't want to miss anything here. Oh, man.
Okay. So, has anyone put on the wet tires? I'm gonna have a look up and down the field. Yep, I'm gonna have a look up and down the field and see what I see. So I'll start from the basically anyone who's pitted then. Dry.
The problem is I still think it's too early to get onto the slicks. There's just...
It is. We have one wet runner. Joshua Kimball is on the wet tire at the moment.
Yeah, one of our league
So
admins.
basically...
He is the trendsetter.
Exactly. So basically, what happens here, if the rain keeps going and it keeps getting worse, he's going to have a huge advantage because a lot of people have already swapped to dries. And that means that you're going to have to take another pit stop and lose about 50, 60 seconds.
Another thing we're going to want to keep an eye on here from the commentator booth is lap times in general. The last lap to come out of our drivers was already looking slower. Oh, yep, weather updated again.
Kimball is in the wall!
Uh-oh.
And we have someone... Oh, Jesus! Dylan Kaiser just managed to dodge Joshua as they was going down the downhill section, but it is very slippery on the dry tire at the moment. Dylan is really struggling to get the car to turn as he wants it to, or they want it to.
Trying to get the camera
and
there.
Oscar
there we go.
Oscar Lou is also right on the bumper of Jackness again.
Okay, let's see what their lap times look like here, because this is going to be the first on the greasy track here. We'll see just how much it's slowing them down. Oh man, you can see they're really struggling to get it around that corner. Barely gets it around in time, but
it's a 7-second drop in times.
Oof. That is a steep penalty, and that does make me wonder if the wets are worth it at this point.
No, it's not going to be worth it since it's going to stop raining in a little bit. So basically,
there's another weather update. Wow.
Yeah. So basically, how it's going to work now is you want to stay on this tire set for as long as you possibly can. As Oscar Lewis on the outside, he tries to go around the outside going into Griffith, but it drifts out really wide and he almost touches the wall. It is very, 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 very close, but he manages to keep it out. So yeah. What you want to do is stay on this tire set for as long as you possibly can, because what happens when you change the tire set is that you never get it up to temp when the track is wet, and you grain the tires super early. And they're really close. It is very close on the down in the mountain section, and you can see Oscar is starting to flash Jackness a bit. Maybe not happy with the driving standards that we've been seeing earlier. But Jesus, the cars are plowing. Oscar is almost on the grass, going into Skyline. I'm on this POV and it's not looking stable at all.
We're on the rear-facing camera of Michael Jackness here, and you can just see how wet this track has gotten in such a short amount of time based on the reflection from the headlights. It is soggy out there, folks, and with two cars trying this hard.
Oh, he managed to save it, but it just does not look good. That was very close for him to just losing the rear going into the final corner.
Yeah, I think that was just because the brakes locked up on him.
Yeah,
that's what it sounded like from my perspective, is the rear's locked up. But yeah, no, as pointed out by by our chat here, the track is damp now. Water still falling from the sky, albeit not quite as much as earlier, but you can start to see the water is pooling on the track in some places there. Man, I wonder what their tire temps are like right now. They're probably purple.
Pretty bad.
Yeah. Billy Carlin right now, so let's in 6th place under fire. Oh wait, wait, hold on. It just updated. Oh, that was very weird. Thank you, standings. All right, I don't know what just happened there. That was very confusing.
Jeff Fleischman is also on the wets now. And we have Spencer Brown and Easton also on the wets. And we have Dylan Kaiser also on the wets. Issue is, it's gonna stop raining soon, and it looks really squirmy in the downhill for Dylan. Thought I saw someone going into the pits there.
Doesn't look like it at this point. Only 5 cars remaining. Oh, and Oscar Lou into the wall, up in the second corner of Quarry there.
We are halfway through. Keep it up.
And yeah, but he still managed to get past Jackness. I think Jackness is struggling a lot right now with the water.
Yeah, there's a lot of water on the track here, and actually these closer camera shots are really demonstrating just how much, because you can see the spray behind the cars. And if we go to the onboard of Jackness here, and I think that's exactly what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and hop in. Like you can
Jackness,
see, visibility is
Jackness
not
has
great.
made a mistake here. Instead of putting the brake bias as far rearwards as possible, he's put it forwards. He's done the opposite of what you're supposed to do with wet brake bias. So basically what is happening here is that he's just locking the fronts every time he pushes the brake pedal. He needs to move the brake bias further rearwards, otherwise he won't be able to do any heavy braking.
And to the folks who can't see the telemetry because I'm streaming it, just pay attention to the driver's steering. What we're looking for is a telltale sign of understeer from your front brakes locking. You'll notice he has to turn more than you would think you need to because the tires aren't gripping enough. And you can see it actually coming around that corner too, how you kind of floated out to the left there. It's because there just is not grip in those front tires to turn the car the way it needs to. And you can see him fighting it under throttle as well. Honestly, this is an excellent demonstration of just how much control Jackness has over the car under these conditions. And we can see him just plowing right to the outside there. Just how much effort is going into controlling the car and keep it going around the track to try and compete for first place, but just cannot get the most grip out of these tires because of the road conditions. Which, despite the forecast suggesting it should be better, it does seem to continue to be getting worse.
No, it's because it's still raining, but as soon as it stops raining, a dry line is going to start coming out. As it hasn't stopped raining yet, we're still going to have worsening conditions for all the dry runners up until, it stops, which is pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, the best strat for this is just go long. Always just go long and try to stick it out as long as you can on the dries. Oh, as Daniel Wright has a moment, and he manages to just catch it.
Right now we're watching the battle between Ice Tin and S. Brown right now. Battling it out for 7th. It is a pro versus an am.
We have a car in the wall. It looks like he managed to keep it out of the way as well. It was Lloyd going...
Okay. Oh no! Oh my goodness! What just happened? Oh man, Ice Tin has no time to react there, goes dead on front to another BMW. I think that was the BMW of Dylan Kaiser.
Oh, Kaiser? No, I think it was Yaski.
Was it Yaski? There was another white BMW.
Yeah, number 15 still turned the wrong way in the downhill part of the track. And he's gonna have to sit there for a long time because a bunch of people are coming up and the track is really slippery around there. It's gonna be really bad for him if he tries to get moving.
Yeah,
I'm on his POV and he can see cars just coming down Skyline.
Yeah,
and right now he's right on the racing line.
Oh, I've got it in the helicam. Oh no, you just got to turn the traction control off and whip it around at this point. Oh, he's got another car coming. You got to go, Andrew. Oh, that's a bad spot to be. Ooh.
Oh.
Okay, all right, we avoided any drama there. Thank goodness. All right, Andrew Yaski gonna start making his way back down the hill. Ooh. Gemini, why do you keep saying he went into the BMW when they're all BMWs? That is because I am a moron.
We have Jackness in the pits right now. Let's see what he does. Does he put on the wets? I don't think he should. I honestly don't think that is the way to go, but he might do it. Let's see what strategy he decides to do. And we'll see in about 30 seconds.
Oscar Luce still out on the track though. But we are watching the battle right now for 5th place between S. Brown and Rick Reeder. It is getting very, very close between these cars.
Oh yeah, they're bumper to bumper going up the uphill. Here comes the interesting part. Is Brown going to be able to keep it straight in the downhill with disturbed arrow and a wet track?
Ooh, if you listen to the exhaust note of Rick Reeder, you can hear just how much modulation he's having to do on the throttle to try and keep the car from kicking out on him. But now we're going to watch just how close these drivers get to each other coming down the hill. Both of these BMWs pushing to the absolute limit of grip here, trying to get around one another, but there's just not enough room for Rick Reeder to make it happen here. It is going to come down to the exit here at Forrest's elbow, down into Conrad. I think he's going to make it happen.
He's going to have it here. What Reeder can do now is just tuck in behind, but the difference was just too big on exit. Good job there on Brown's part. Okay, let's locate Yaknes now. Currently running in third, and he's on the dry tire.
That is quite the gamble. Looking at the track conditions, it looks like it started sprinkling again, so any amount that dry line may have appeared is going to disappear now.
Yeah, it's been raining for longer than I thought it would be, but yeah, he can't be on throttle at all basically before Skyline. Has to take it so careful, because now the issue he has now is that he has no tire heating at all. The tires are just stone cold dead basically. They're not going to respond to pretty much anything he does.
Oscar Liu's still out on the track. I think at this point just praying to the rain god that it'll just take a break here, so they can get in on that the pit window. They have 3 minutes and 30 seconds. That is really, they only have time for one more lap. They have to come in now.
Where on track is he right now?
Coming up the hill, getting ready to take the cutting.
Yep. Yeah, he has to come in this lap then. And just hope that it stops raining during the lap. But I gotta say, I think Oscar's doing a good job here of keeping the car straight and still actually having some fairly okay pace. I think he's doing a good job because he's outpacing Wright, and he was definitely faster than Yaski as well.
Yeah, I think it comes down to patience being the key here. Just kept his nose out of trouble, kept the car with as little damage as we could sustain. And that's you know, showing here just how important it is to not take damage at Mount Bathurst or Mount Panorama. The rain has stopped. There it is. Just as soon as suddenly as it appeared, it is gone. That is going to be a breath of relief for Liu and Wright.
Yep, that is a big thing for them, because now they won't have the same tire heating issues as Yaskis has. Yaknes has.
Trying to look for folks who are pretty close to one another. Let's see. Andre Lloyd has some company. A little bit of beat up front end there.
Yeah, he's gonna lose about 10 to 20 kph down the straights with that.
Yep, and with Chris Ungurian right behind him. That's gonna be.
Yeah, you see how much the difference is.
Yep, pretty trivial pass for Chris there, but that is gonna move him up into 10th place if he's able to hang on to it.
As Wright goes into the pits.
And so does
Lewis
Liu.
in the pits.
Yep. All right, that is our race leader, and second place coming into the pits right now. Let's keep an eye on where they come out on the track. Let's see where Yaknes is on the track. Just coming around Forests. I don't think they'll make it to this. No, there's no way. So I think that is going to be Oscar Liu and Daniel Wright hanging onto their position unless Yaknes pulls some magic out of their exhaust pipe. That wasn't what I was going to say when I started that phrase, but good catch there, streamer. You did it. Let's take a look at Spencer Brown here. Currently 6/10 up on the on their previous delta. Finds a little bit more time coming up around that corner. We'll see if they're able to hang on to it coming down the hill. Looking right now for any other close battles for position. I don't see any right now.
Oscar Liu is probably leaving the pits there as Yaknes goes past. Yeah, Liu is out, but Wright is still in the pits.
Okay, so Yaknes
or something
is
wrong
gonna
with my relative.
Yeah, so okay, all right. So Liu's going to hang on to first place. That is going to be a position lost in the pits for Daniel Wright, it looks like.
Yep, that is very much the case. And the gap between Liu and Wright is, and Yaknes is fairly big as well.
Wright must have chosen
Liu has
to
been
repair
doing
damage.
an amazing job. Yeah, maybe, but the damage wasn't severe enough from what I could see, especially in these conditions to justify repairing everything.
Joshua Kimball taking an expedition into the runoff there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, look at the front end, though. I don't know if it's his fault.
Yeah, that thing is very borked.
Not sure what happened there, but that does not look pretty. keep an eye on him, see if he goes in the pits to finish it or fix it, or...
Oh yeah, he has. It is a
Yeah, there he
90-degree steering angle. He has to repair or retire. This car is undrivable, and if he were to drive it, it would be he can't even turn left. Wonder what happened. I'm gonna go back into the replay and have a look.
For sure. All right, let's take a look over here at this car, if I can find him. Yeah, there we go, Augustus Klemp, number 92, currently running in P11, being chased down by Chris Ngurian, who just a little bit ago was in 10th, so I'm not sure what happened there. Huh. Well, that happened fast.
Oh. Kimball touched the grass on the exit of the chase and basically lost the rear and slammed into the wall.
To give the folks at home an idea of what we're talking about, Daniel Wright is getting ready to take that same corner if the camera wants to do its job and look over there, right here. So if you go a little too far inside on that curb there and kiss the grass, it'll shoot you out into that runoff we saw Joshua Kimball in just a couple seconds ago. But Daniel Wright in third, trying to track down Michael Yaknis, who is... I don't know if I can trust that split. Is there a car in between them? There is.
We can see some of the people that went onto wet tires going back onto dries now.
And this is why you don't doubt Fred Fosberg when it comes to setup decisions. He was right and I was wrong. Let's take a look at the number 937 car of Andrew Lloyd. He's got some company right behind him coming up to the top of the hill here. Coming into Frog Hollow now. And it looks like that BMW out in front, oh no, that is his BMW, has some front aero damage. Not a great part of the track to have that on. Is going to have to has some work to defend this position. Good news is these cars behind can't get around him coming down this hill. But the question is, how well will they be able to take that final exit down to Conrad and maybe hang on to that position a little bit longer? Currently in 8th place. And the standings have changed once again. I guess Chris is in 10th again. I don't know. For all we know, they were... Oh, Joshua Kimball going to pick up the 30-second stop and go from race control.
Oh.
I think that's for speeding in the pits.
Yep, that is speeding in the pits. That is just insult to injury at this point.
All right, looks like that front aero damage was going to be too much to overcome, and that is going to be a pass from A. Klemp there in the number 92 BMW. And now Chris Ngurian going to be looking down the crosshair here at that number 937 right in front of him, try and get 9th place away from him. See who else has some company right now. Number 25 car, but I want to stay tuned into this battle. Chris does get around him there in the final corner while I was looking at something else. So that front aero damage really not doing Andre Lloyd here any favors.
I can see how scary it is going through the chase with these cars at the moment, because what I've seen is every time they go through the chase and they have a tiny bit of throttle on, the rear end just steps out at 250 kph, and it's almost coughing time for them.
All right, watching the battle between... Actually, hold on, I just realized something. Look at our top 10 standings. We've got a lot of AMs up in the top 10, actually being led off by S. Brown in 5th right now. And then the next 6 cars, all AMs in the standings right now.
Come on, step it up, pros. To be fair, top 4 is all pro drivers, so...
Yeah. And by a fairly large margin as well.
Yeah. The gap between Wright and Afonso is very large as well.
Track condition is improving, has gone from damp to greasy. So as long as, or actually by this point, little kiss from the wall there from Arthur Chu there we saw. Saw the back end get a little bit unsettled, but manages to hang on to it. Ooh, and another stop and go 30 is picked up by the number 66 car for speeding in the pit lane.
Sunton lap.
I'm looking for any battles They're right on top of one another. I see one. I just got to find them in my menu over here. There we go. That is actually going to be Michael Yaknis and a back marker. So that's why that split was as close as it was. Who's currently still trying to track down Oscar Liu, who has a pretty good lead here of about 6 seconds. Ooh, number 92 car gets spun around in turn 1. We're actually going to see it on the camera here. Ooh, very damaged BMW. Actually, 2 of them in shot there. Oscar Liu's going to be able to get around there without any drama. Not sure what happened there. Probably just overcooked it in turn 1 and caught the exit of the pit wall there.
It looks like Yaknis is actually catching Liu at this point also.
It does look like that is the case. What was a 4-second gap just a little bit ago. Ooh, gets a little bit loose there on the curb. Still slippery from the rain earlier. But is closing the gap. Let's take a look at Yaknis. Currently 4/10 up on the Delta, half a second now, continuing to improve that lap time. Let's see the last lap out of our 2 drivers that we're paying attention to right now. Last lap from Oscar Liu is a 2:08.7. Last lap from Yaknis, 2:09.1. But Yaknis is currently 7/10 up in the Delta and is going to be, passing a back marker there. Well done there. And I now think has an uninterrupted line to Oscar Liu. And clean air to do it with.
Coming up to Lewis coming up to some as he gets really squirmy going into first elbow, but yeah, he is starting to catch some lap cars now, so either it gets held up or he gets let by, and Yaknis might be getting stuck behind people.
Let's take a look over at Jeff Fleischman, currently under fire from, who is that? Arthur Chu right behind him. This is going to be a battle for 13th place in our AM standings here. Let's see, is that followed by G-Fitter? It is followed by G-Fitter there in 15th. So we got a 3-car battle for 13th position here. Racing down the Conrad Straight right now.
Fairly close as well. Oh, we have Kimball going quite slow again, but he has gotten moving. Yeah, it's close, but they're not within striking distance of anyone unless someone goes for the most heroic of dives. So
with these road conditions, I would advise against that.
Oh, I don't think it's going to be a good idea if you actually want to stop your car.
Ooh, Arthur takes a little look at the inside there, thinks better of it. I hope you're not watching the stream because we were kidding about going for heroic dives right now. There is less than 12 minutes left in this race. At this point, you just got to hang on to the position you've got, or if you have a good shot at the one ahead, just wait for the mistake.
Of course, you can try to force the issue, but it has to be clean.
And with these road conditions, just the slightest misjudgment is going to be not just your car out of the race, but whoever else is unfortunate enough to get collected in the incident that's going to follow. But Arthur Chu is getting tracked down by that BMW behind. G-Fitter gets the inside line here. Let's see if he's able to force him off the... Ooh, look at the switchback there. And Arthur Chu, I think, is actually going to get ahead. Oh!
And Fitter spins around and hits the wall.
Narrowly avoids getting collected there by G-Fitter.
Needs to spin the car. It goes back to pits. I think that's him done, maybe.
That might be a retirement there. Because that was a big hit into that wall. Almost certainly going to be some damage to the alignment and front suspension. And now there were 2. Arthur Chu and Jeff Fleischman now coming up over the hill here. Going around Solomon Park, now down Skyline. And let's see if they're able to tighten up this gap anymore, maybe have some excitement down Conrad. Don't think he's going to be close enough for a tow.
No. Looks like Shu has a good idea on how he has to take first elbow. The problem there was he didn't really think of the track conditions, and therefore he just washed wide on the exit, so he couldn't get on throttle as early as you'd like to.
Yeah. update on the battle for first. It does look like Oscar Liu is starting to lose pace to Michael Yaknis. However, the gap is about where it was when we left off. There's about 4 seconds between the two of them.
Yeah, also Yaknis was only 1/10 faster than Liu last lap, so unless Liu makes any bigger mistakes, I don't think that we're gonna see any position changes, honestly.
I don't think so either. Oh, excuse me, folks. Ugh.
No worries, I'm also quite tired. It's late in Sweden.
Yeah, no kidding. My God. Madman. Let's go ahead and hop back over with Jeff Fleischman and Arthur Chu, because that battle is still raging on, and I think this is the closest battle for position on track at the moment. With less than 10 minutes left in this race, it is going to come down to the wire for these two drivers for a P12 finish. And it is really close. It is really close between these two.
Yeah, the issue here for Arthur is that it's very close, very hard to stick to the bumper of someone going through this section, because you really need all the clean air that you can get, and being too close to the car head will just basically give you a bunch of arrow plow, and you basically just won't have any front end grip. But he's doing a really good job of keeping it close to Fleischmann, and maybe he'll be able to go for an overtake coming onto the chase.
Oh, there's a car sideways. I believe that was Joshua Kimball out in front.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Should probably be getting out of the way here.
And that BMW is just beat to hell again. Oh, and did I just see some rain?
No, I don't think
I did.
did.
Okay, I think that must have just been a little bit of a bug there. I could have sworn I saw it.
Hopeful thinking. Also, we can see that Jaski is close to Klemp a bit further down the field. Two tenths between them.
Arthur Chu wanted to try something on the outside there, but a smart line decision from Jeff Fleischman cuts him off before he can make it happen. And they're going to continue around the track once again in the same order. And Chu has got to be getting impatient here. We're talking about laps that are greater than 2 minutes here at Bathurst. And there's only 7 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, 3.5 laps left, about that, roughly. We can, as we see, Jaski and Klemp being really close to each other. Although Jaski dropped a bit back going into forced elbow. I think he got a better exit, but I don't think it's going to be close enough to go for a move at the end of the chase at the moment. So they are the two closest battles we have going on right now.
I'm sorry, who was the other one? It was number 92 and
15.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we will take a look at that here in just a second. I want to see how these two manage their way up the hill here. Ooh, getting really close to that wall there from Jeff Fleischman, using every inch of the track that he can. And they're going to begin their descent down the hill. Let's go ahead and... I really don't want to look away, but the battle between number 92 and the other car is getting very, very close here.
It's getting closer. Problem is we have the mountain section coming up, and yeah, following through there and overtaking in general is near impossible.
We are going to take a look here. We're going to bounce back and forth here because I want to watch both of these battles. They are very close. Looks like Jeff Fleischman is going to put enough distance between him and the car behind and maybe not get a tow, but that... Ooh, Arthur is getting closer, though.
Yep. So basically what Arthur has to do here is try to... Oh, this is too early, you need to wait!
That was close, yeah, and he's going to get boxed out. Just barely too early on the trigger there, and that is going to cost him another lap behind Jeff Fleischman, who is doing an excellent job defending this. Let's go ahead and take a look back at Augustus Klemp here as we're coming up to the top of the hill here, with Andrew Jaski closely in tow. But as we've been mentioning, being really close on this part of the track may not necessarily be advantageous, though. He's going to almost have room on the outside there. Augustus had to do a little bit of panic braking there to not go into a wall. Almost left enough room on the outside for Jaski to get around, but not quite enough as they come down the hill into Forest Elbow and begin their run down Conrad. I don't think he's close enough to pick up the tow from Klemp, though.
I think yes.
I think he is.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he is.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look.
He has the toe, but I don't think it's going to be close enough for a move. But he definitely has the toe. No, not close enough that time around. Although it looks like Jaski has way more mid-cornering speed, so probably running a bit more wing than
Klemp here, yeah.
Than Klemp, yeah.
Ooh, lot of curb there from Klemp. Is going to throw him off wide on the track, and that is going to give some ground up to Jaski behind, who may have a look at the inside here into turn 1. Thinks better of it though, and is going to try and make his pass on the mountain straight.
Yeah,
he definitely close enough to make it happen now.
He should have just tucked in behind, tried to get close to Klemp's bumper, and just followed him. Here. That is the way to go.
And that battle is going to rage on, but not to be forgotten about, Jeff Fleischman and Arthur Chu still battling it out as we can start to see the sun is peeking out from behind the clouds, which is going to dry up the track if there were any other wet spots remaining, which is going to be interesting.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, here we go. I think he's going to get it.
Chu is on the inside. Hit. Yep, he's got it.
And he got it. And there we go. After about 10 laps of us watching them, that position has been claimed by Arthur Chu. And with 3 minutes left, Jeff Fleischman does not have a lot of time to try and get it back. Let's go ahead and watch Augustus Klemp and Andrew Jaski making their way down the hill. Just not quite close enough, I don't think, to make something happen here, but if Jaski gets the better exit, we might... Ooh, a little kiss of the wall there at the very end. I'm not sure if that was desync from the server, or if he actually connected there a little bit.
Looked like he had a tiny tap.
Oh, but he's hitting Klemp with the flashers, though, saying, get out of my way.
Stressing him out. I wonder what happened to Eisen. He was running such a solid race, and now he's down to 14th all of a sudden. Something must have happened that we missed.
Could be any number of things, really, but we can see now just how close Jaski is to Klemp. We'll see if he repeats the same tactic through the final corner in turn 1, or if he's going to take Fred's advice and get right on that rear bumper and go for the overtake on the straight.
Yep. And then basically early dictate that you're going to take the inside line going into Griffin.
Oh, but he goes out too wide.
He's on the grass. And that, him hitting the inside curb.
Give it all you can.
And that is race control calling out leaders on the final lap. So this is these two drivers actually are going to have 2 laps remaining here to try and make an overtake happen.
Yeah, this battle is probably the thing that we should be watching. At the same time, Oscar Liu going for another win. 2nd out of 2 races. This is starting to become a habit now for him.
Let's see, how much faster is he per lap than... Oh my goodness, his last lap was only a 10th off of his best from the race.
Yep, track is back up to optimum now, so the grip should be good.
Ooh, there was an accident with the number 14 car just a little bit ago. Which doesn't make sense, because I don't think we have a number 14 car. Thank you very much, broadcasting.
Ah, we do. We have a 14 car.
We do?
No, he's in 11th place right now.
I see it, yep.
Dropped down to 12th, 13th. Where is he? Currently. On track.
I don't see it. But
I don't see it either.
Ooh, Spencer Brown gets overtaken. Must have... Did he run out of... Oh! Spencer Brown running out of fuel, I think.
Yeah, I think that is the case.
Oh,
Where is
no.
Oscar Liu? Yeah, he's out.
Just trying to...
Or maybe, and maybe he's almost out, and he's basically just... He's going to run out if he drives another lap.
Yeah.
And no, he has to wait for Oscar Liu to finish.
There goes Daniel right around the outside.
Oh yeah, no one's going to push him here. Someone give the man a push.
There's
As
Oscar
Liu
Liu
comes around the final corner, and he wins the race.
The leader has finished the race.
solid drive.
Oh no, the
my
car is
guy.
rolling backwards. He's out of gas right at the start finish line.
Oh!
Oh no, and then there's a collision. Oh no, and that's why you can't leave your car in the middle of the track, because now he has no way to get out of the racing line. Oh no, this is not good. Okay, teleports to the pit. Yeah. Good call. Let's go ahead and take a look back at Augustus Klemp and Andrew Yaski as they are trying to finish this race now.
And there are no other battles going on right now, so and I think that Gabriel Fitter should just probably let them by at this point so they can fight it out on the final lap of the race.
Yep.
Although Shu is really close to someone now. Yeah, he's gotten past Lloyd with the front end damage. Shu
Wow.
is up to 10th now. Coming into the final corner of the race.
Oh, Klemp almost loses the back end, kisses the outside curbing there at the top of the hill, barely manages to hang on to it. That is going to let Yaski get a little bit closer, but I don't know if it's going to be enough unless they really nail the exit of Forest and get a good run down Conrad. We'll see what happens here. Oh, they are very close. They are very close.
But it looked like Yaski had a bit of a wide exit, but at the same time, I don't think he can get past here because now Klemp has a tow as well from Fidder.
Yeah. Oh, but it's going to come down to the last couple of corners now, because look at how close they are. Klemp keeps his car right in the middle of the racing line to shut down any hopes of Yaski getting around him. We'll see if he tries something in the final corner here. Again, excellent defensive line there from Klemp just to make sure that he hangs on to it as long as he doesn't lose the back end here. It is going to be a 15th place finish, or excuse me, 14th place finish as the leaderboard updates at the final second there, and that is going to be the race, folks.
Yep, that is it. And Oscar Liu with another win in the M4. He won in Nürburgring. It came out of nowhere. Didn't really have him as a favorite in here, but now it's starting to become a habit, this winning. That is really cool to have another guy that is out there fighting for wins.
Sure. All right, let's take a look at, let me get in here, and we're going to just take one final look at the timetables here for the race so we can get an idea of where our finishing was, which it is broken. Wonderful. All right.
Yep.
Well,
we will have the race results on our Discord as always. So if you're interested to see how consistency or telemetry or stuff like that was, welcome onto the ARC Discord, as you will probably see in the description of the stream.
all right. Well, that is going to do it for us, unless we don't have any driver interviews lined up, I don't think, for this week.
No, I don't.
Okay, so we'll have to we'll have to do that for next week then for sure. But that is gonna do it for us here at Apollo Racing Club. What an exciting race. We got a little bit of rain in the mix to throw everybody for a loop. Want to say a big thank you to everybody who tuned in to watch this. We will be here again next week. What race is on the schedule for next week? Fred, do you know off the top of your head?
I'm not off the top of my head, but I can check in a few seconds. So give me
go take a look
and I'll
here.
have a look.
Yeah. Same time as always next week, folks. It will be we'll start the pre-stream about 10 minutes to 6 Pacific Standard Time, and the race kicks off about 30 minutes after that once we get through all of the transitions. Oh my goodness, and it is going to be Imola next week. Definitely a race you don't want to miss. That is also another very, very exciting track that has a lot of history of it having to be consistently slowed down because it kept killing drivers. So if that's going to give you any idea of what the race might look like next week, it is going to be one to watch. But that is going to do it. Final thank you to everybody who tuned in this week. Hopefully we see you next week here at Apollo Racing Club. Talk to you guys soon.